Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Give Them Lala podcast. I'm somewhat freaking the fuck out. Yes, you know. The signature giggle, laugh, voice, all the things that just like made all of us fall in love with you. I have
so
Brynn Whitfield from Real Housewives of New York. I was telling you, Brynn, I am very, very picky about who I have come on the podcast.
Yeah.
I have the team sending me people all the live long day. I'm sure they're interesting to a lot of people, not to me. I've had one guest since we've done YouTube, which by the way, we just hit 10,000 followers on YouTube.
Hey.
Not bad,
News
not
to
bad.
me.
Yeah.
I've had one person, I've had Stassi. So you're my second guest and
Oh
I'm
my God.
honored to have you.
Oh, boo boo! I'm so thankful to be here. It's like she's like the cool chick in high school, like the kind of scary one that you desperately want her to like you. Like that's you. Like I'm the one that's honored.
That's so crazy because that was not the actual reality
really
of me in high school.
You
No.
just seem like you would have been like the Regina George, like the most popular, the most beautiful, but kind of intimidating, scary. Like girls wanted you to punch them in the face. You know.
Not at all. I was
No?
actually the theater geek who was like getting finger banged by the head of the football team.
Okay, more.
And that's
I
about
love
it. That's as cool as I got. Was
my
like, oh
God.
my God, it was a finger.
You got fingers.
Speaking
You know?
of finger banging, that's also the best. I was just having a conversation with this last week. That's like the best, most underrated.
If they're good at it, it's the best, right?
So, do they have to be good at finger banging? I think finger banging is one that you don't actually need to even like be a specialist.
Not
It's
I
just
feel
like
like you gotta be good.
it's just
like
it's
in
the
No, you don't have to be
No.
good. You just show.
it's not. Go ahead.
No, you go
I was
ahead.
gonna say it's not the same as a hand job. Where like a hand job, I feel like it's about how they like to do it, and there's like a thing and there's
Thank you.
stuff and whatever.
See?
Finger banging, I think, is just more like how quantity over quality. It's like
Really? Oh, I
Yeah.
totally disagree because that could hurt. If I'm fingered aggressively, done, I'm passing out.
So
I'm like,
there is
if you're
see?
doing a
Yeah.
good finger, it's like clitoris. They're
Yeah.
getting around.
I like how you
and
say
it-
that. Clitoris. Can I get it in a sentence? Can you give me the root of the word? Clitoris. See? Out. You say it so cute.
But that's good to know. So you're not picky with the fingers.
I'm not picky with the finger. I mean, okay, it's more so like I just love the fact that you can do it anywhere.
Oh,
You know,
so
that's
fun
the
under
hottest
the
thing.
table.
Yeah.
That's the hottest thing. I once dated a guy in Venice. He was crazy.
Like Venice Beach or like actual cool Venice?
No, like Venice, nice Venice.
There we go.
Expensive Venice. And I remember I had on these like this cute Mara Hoffman like jumpsuit. He's like, hang on one second. He goes down to his garage, comes back up with these scissors. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I knew he was really intense, but I didn't get it. Pulled out the pockets, and I think cut the pockets out of my jumpsuit. And I was like, this is Mara Hoffman's sample sale. Like, this can't be created. And he's like, no, it's so I can finger you at brunch. Which
No,
he did
hot.
at the Rose restaurant in Venice. And I was like, I felt I'm still in love with that guy. I did. I texted him this weekend. I'm like, hey, I'm in town, you know, and he's like, nice to hear from you. I got the hope you're doing well text.
Oh, like I'm married with 4 kids now, babe.
The vibe, like he's dating someone. And he's like, hey, thanks for the invite. Can't do it. I hope you're doing well.
By the way, give it a few months. They all start creeping at some point. I don't want to be the person they're creeping with, but like they all start to
Yeah.
stray.
Don't
all right?
they?
Where
Don't
he's going to be hitting you up and you're going to be like, I'm good. I saw
Yeah.
you on Instagram.
Right. The second that you like, even like energetically or anything, you move on. They all just come in like
Yeah, what-
millions of them. They can sense when you're happy. you
Yeah,
know?
what is that?
And then they want to ruin your life.
And then they do because then you catch me in my closet in the dark with my vibrator.
Wait, have you used your vibrator in secret?
So when I would see that dudes were sliding in the DM and I knew I couldn't respond, it was so sexually frustrating that
Yeah.
it's like, oh, and then when the Ring cameras went in, it was like, now I'm really fucked. Where am I supposed to do this?
Ring cameras ruined it for all of us.
They
didn't
really
Can't
did,
even
right?
masturbate in the privacy of my own closet. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I have a couple episodes ago, you spoke about swallowing and you were like, all you have to do is like gag on the dick.
Oh, yeah.
So I was-
BJs.
The BJs.
Yeah.
So I was talking to my mom and my best friend.
Where's this going?
Okay, I want to know. I
love
want to
it.
know your thoughts.
Yes, okay.
So my friend asked my mom, are you a swallower?
Yeah.
And my mom was like, no, I never swallowed. My friends told me that cum has way too many calories.
No.
Do you know anything about this?
She's fit. She cares about her fitness. I
Does
like
she
it.
though? Because
She's like, I'm on keto, sweetie. I can't. No. I need the. No, I don't think it has calories. And I don't
sodium,
think-
right?
Maybe a lot of sodium. I do. So here's the thing. I've only saw. That's how I know that I like someone.
Is if you swallow it.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be a freaking gangster.
Really?
I used to like give the BJ,
Can't wait to hear.
swallow, and then grab the bottle of vodka because naturally I
Yeah.
would have that near my bed at this point in time, and chase it with like bottom shelf vodka.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
I used to be a bag of fun. Now someone puts that thing near my face and I'm like, I kiss my child with this mouth. Get it the fuck away from me.
I had a guy friend who told me we were telling like or sharing like our stories. He was like, "This is the creepiest thing ever." He's like, "Don't ever do this." He said a girl gave him a blowjob, and she's trying to be really hot, and I guess she like had it in her mouth, and she goes like, "Watch this," and winked, and then
No,
Gargled?
Gargled.
yeah, gargled it, and then like, and he was like, he just told it. He was like, "No one should ever do that ever."
That's
ever.
disgusting.
Right?
yeah,
Like,
that's like a bad porno.
Could you imagine thinking you have like a party trick, and then it's like just
falls
it's
flat?
actually just
I think it's also a teeth whitener though. So if you swish it around a bit.
I feel like men made that up. I
yeah,
don't know
men
if
made
it's
that up.
men
They're
made
also
that
like
up.
a man was like, it cures cancer. if you
Yeah,
swallow.
it cures cancer. It's great for your skin. It'll make you
yeah,
look
put it
so
on
much
your skin.
younger. Put it on your face.
Breast
it's
milk
like
is good for your skin. Breast milk literally
I
heals.
heard that.
Heals shit. Like
Mhm.
I was
Like,
at a wedding once. I
yeah.
scraped myself, and my friend's like, just put some like, and literally the next day it was fine. It literally cures like
That's very true.
abrasions and things, and it's great for your skin. And,
Right.
Yeah. Not semen. See, they lie to us. It's
They
us,
lie to
not
us.
them. It's always us curing
of course.
the world.
Yeah.
It is.
And
Every
cancer. It's not
time.
them. It's not them.
No, but that is true with the breast milk because when I was pregnant with Ocean and my skin was freaking out, I would just literally just like squirt a little on
Yeah.
my finger and put it on and it like helped a lot.
Oh
Mm.
my gosh. That's
See?
I'm going to
amazing.
see if I can squeeze some out a little later, like if I have any left over because I'm suffering from a breakout. So I have so many questions
Okay, let's
for
go.
you.
Let's go. Let's have at it.
First of all, I want to know, because we were having this conversation before we started. I want to know what you're driven by.
Personally, me, what I'm driven with my life.
Yeah, I mean, we just learned that you were in a pre-med student.
Yeah.
My mind cannot even grasp that at all. Like you
Yeah.
throw me into the wilderness, I'm fucking surviving,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You throw me into a college and bitch, I'm running.
I think at this point, or in 2023, I feel like the wilderness would be actually more useful. I don't know. I've always just answered to myself. I think that my grandmother raised me, but she wasn't hands-on. You know, like we've canonized her into a saint. I think my brother and sister and I, but she wasn't by any means perfect. She had a lot of shortcomings, and staying on top of us, or if you had your homework done or anything, wasn't in her repertoire. So like she sat down and taught me how to do her signature so that she didn't have to sign papers and permission slips and things like that.
Oh,
She couldn't be
wow.
bothered. So she wouldn't show up to our games. She'd get mad at us if we didn't, hit a home run, or she was very tough on us. So it was more so like I had to kind of like create rules for myself and like what my expectations were, and I had to do it. I don't know. Like I don't know if something inspires me more so it's just like I just don't want to be lazy. I don't like lazy people.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what drives me.
You know, some people are like, I'm driven by the amount of Instagram followers I have. I'm driven
Shoot
by
those people.
money. I'm
Right.
those people. Are,
Yeah. I think in a way I'm driven by money. I think up until I turned 30 and I started my own company, I honestly, if you had asked me, I was like, a junior vice president or whatever. I was in my 20s. And had you asked me, I was always worried that I was still gonna work at McDonald's. I literally would go or see McDonald's, like I could still end up there. Like it was always Chicken Little. And it's only taken me the past several years that now I finally don't have that feeling anymore of like I could be poor. I might have to go back on welfare. I might have to do something like that. Like that was always in me. So I was scared. But now I don't have that. I can honestly say I don't have that feeling anymore. And now it's like I've read all those books about manifestation. I've done everyone from like Abraham Hicks to Eckhart Tolle to whatever the Tony Robbins guy. I've done all that stuff. So now I do believe like you are your thoughts. You create everything. Like what's for you is going to come to you. Now I subscribe to all that Venice shit. I picked it up when I lived in Venice.
Yeah.
So now I'm just more like, it's like I'm scared of nothing. And I've had so much fucked up shit happen to me in my life. I was telling someone, I was like, I'm fucking bulletproof. Like I'm unafraid. Like I'm literally David Goggins says this thing. He's like, when the devil goes to sleep at night, make sure he's looking under the bed for you. And that's how I live. And I'm like, no, the devil's scared for me because I've dined with the devil. Like I picked up the tab. I'm, like,
Yeah.
so I'm like unafraid. Like I think that's like my superpowers too. Like I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean I do and I care. I'm not one of these like I don't give a fuck bitches. But I'm like, there's something in me where
It's
like
confidence.
it's confidence. But I can be I don't have confidence all the time. Like it's just. I don't know. It's just this thing where like I'm not. I think is the worst things in life that could have happened to a child or a woman, and like there's 10% of my life I've shared on the show to date. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, your story." I'm not giving other people my full story. That's my story, and I'm going to share it over time. But I've only shared 10% of what's happened to me in my life. I've had the most fucked up shit happen.
I
to
have
me.
chills right now.
My love. I feel like that's why too. Even like how we've known each other, I've always picked up that from you. Like you've like been through shit too. Like I don't know. I just feel always like you're kind of the same. Like I don't know. I've just felt that connection always to you.
I can't imagine though with what you went through because I had the luxury of growing up, and so did Easton, of two phenomenal parents who loved each other, who there was never any pressure. Whatever we wanted to do in life, we could achieve. And if we didn't go to college, no big deal. If we didn't make a lot of money, no big deal. Like they just wanted to see us happy and healthy, right?
Yeah.
So we did have that luxury that not everybody has.
Yeah.
There are things that have obviously happened in my life that have shaped me. And I personally have said, I'm bulletproof. Like you cannot take me out. If this didn't take me out, nothing will.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, as we talk about that, is it the experience or does that come with age?
I think it's getting both. I read somewhere the answer is always both. For a good question.
I like that. I love the gray.
Yeah. It's always. I think it's a little bit of both. Definitely with age. I thought I was confident. I thought I knew everything in my 20s. Now in my 30s, it's just crazy. Whether it be life or my own self confidence or how I'm with men. I'm like I was so like now like I love like each age I get older. I'm like less dumb, and I feel better about myself. And I'm like, oh, this is easier, and shit kind of goes into perspective. But I think it's also it's not the experience. I think it's just getting through having the experience and then not like dying or failing, or even sometimes when you felt when like I'd feel like I wanted to do that. Like I think getting through it and saying what, like for example, if it's like a breakup or if it's something, anything or a family or death or something, and you're like, you were scared of that thing happening. You're like, oh, we always say, like, oh my God, if a plane goes down with all my family in it, I won't be able to live.
Right.
And I've said this too. I love my brother so much. And I remember one time I was talking to him, just thinking about, I was like, well, if you and my sister and grandma, if you guys all died, I'd kill myself too. I can't live after that. He goes, no, you'd be sad for about a year, but then you move on because you have to. And now I feel that way. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to
I'm
explain it.
so like on your page. It's so crazy because as you're talking, it's when my dad passed. I, as a child, used to lay in bed, and this is not normal for a child. And I would
be
listen.
Like, and imagine how sad you'd be, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yes. Yeah. And listen to Celine Dion, some song about like saying goodbye when your mom dies, sobbing as like an elementary school student.
I listened to and I know you're shining down. And I would lay in my bed and think about my grandmother dying because I loved her so much.
And you're
I
like, how will I function?
And sometimes I think that it's been 2 years, and look, she was 82, and it was fucked up what happened with my family and stuff with her. They cremated her against her last wishes, and then now
that is devastating.
Now she's in a
Brynn.
storage unit, like
a storage unit.
Yeah, they refused to bury her. It's fucked up. That's a whole nother thing. But that's my family. But like I was always so scared my whole life about she's gonna die, and I would like premeditate. I did it with my dog too. I was like so sad before it happened. And I think sometimes the reason why I'm still like having trouble like, speaking sometimes about her, and like a lot on camera too, for some reason the camera's fucked with me, and having to say things on camera, having to say my grandmother's dead, I would start like just bawling, crying.
Yeah.
It made it real. I think in my self-preservation way, I just go about it and I tell my story, and I'm a publicist and I can narrate things, I can speak. But then all of a sudden, there was like in the confessional, they're like, so tell us about Mimi. And I would just like start shaking. I was like, get away. Like, I was like, fuck off. I'm not talking about it. And we had to keep doing confessionals. And they would wait the questions at the end. And then finally, I'd take like 3 shots. I'd be like, come on, you go. You have 5 fucking minutes. And I'm like, and it's so crazy because they're all weirded out because it's me for like, hi guys. I'm like, wink. And then I would get with Abe. And then I was just like, go answer the question. You have 5 fucking minutes.
Like you'd make it,
I'm
they
like,
see a version of you that they're not
and everyone's,
used to.
and then they're like, get her out of here. Like, and then I would just be like dark for 2 days. Like it was just very, but I would do the same thing that you did as a kid. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think is like not glorifying it, but what's it called when you build it up so much in your head. Like I'm not saying we're not as sad as we are about parents dying.
No, but you do find a way to move on. Can I ask you, do you believe in God or a higher power?
Yes. Yeah. I grew up very, very Catholic, but I've fallen in love with a lot of different religions.
Okay.
I've dabbled a little bit of Islam. I've tried to convert 3 times to Judaism.
Wow.
Yeah. I love religion. I think it's beautiful. I think everyone's an idiot because we're all actually praying to the same shit.
Right.
And it's all the same, but then there's like, we're all fighting over it, but it's all the beautiful parts of it. We're all wanting the same thing.
I feel the exact same way. Easton and I grew up in Utah, so religion scares me. Spirituality and like the talks of God
forced.
or a higher power. It felt very forced to where it kind of turned me off.
Right.
But I also think that leaning into that when you actually do experience loss, instead of it just being something you're imagining, like when this happens, I'm done. Let's call it a day. It happens. And then for me, God has a very strange way of helping you compartmentalize. And I'm not saying everyone is like this, just personally.
Yeah.
If I can lean into that, there is a way where I can remember, my dad the way he deserves to be remembered, and I can move on with my life, yet still have the most vivid, like I remember every wrinkle. I remember the way his hands look, the way his hug feels.
Yeah.
And I can only attribute
Write
it.
it down write it down. When
Oh,
you
girl, I
remember these
did.
things. Yeah, when they come up, little things. Keep writing them
Any
down.
sayings.
Yeah.
All of that
The little
stuff.
things, because you start to like so many memories have come up over the past 2 years. Little things about her house or her hands or how she would touch something, and I was like, where did this memory come from? And I don't know where it came from, but so therefore I don't know where it's gonna go. So I want to keep it. So I always write them down now, and I have like this long list of just the things she used to do, how she used to snore, how she used to lay, all these little things. Yeah.
I love that you do that. I love that you call your grandma Mimi, because that was our grandma. Her name was Mimi. And
Really?
Yes. And
my God.
it's so cute. And just when you talk about her, and I know what you mean, where you're like, I know that this person wasn't perfect, but she was my Mimi, and she took over in a time that was like, you were a little baby. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this part. When she said, you go to medical school to marry a doctor. First of all, who's getting into medical school to where they would even have the option to marry a doctor that way?
Seriously. No, I remember I wanted to be a doctor my entire life. I just studied as a child nonstop, anatomy, physiology. I would watch like cardiac surgeries. Like I don't know how I got my hands on videos. I had a little white robe that said Dr. Brynn on it. I would do every book report in school about Dr. Christian Barnard. He was a South African doctor who did the first human heart transplant. Dr. Ben Carson, I loved him, and not, politically now later on in life, but I loved him. He did the first brain transplant. I was obsessed with becoming
You're
a doctor.
fucking smart, dude.
Yeah, I love listening to you.
I was obsessed with being a doctor. I go to Purdue, and I went to Purdue because it's a good science school. It's like one of the top engineering schools. So I'm like, I'm going to learn. I fucked myself over because I was competing with people who are now working at like SpaceX and they're rocket scientists. Yeah. I'm smart, but I'm not like fucked up. Like it took me, I had to study for the sciences and those things. I was a mathlete when I was in elementary school. I loved math. I can't even add now, but I wasn't as good at science. I got really in my head. I was with a very unsupportive boyfriend who basically was like, yeah, I don't think you can do it either.
What?
Yeah, he was the worst. And then I remember I called my grandma and she was like, oh, honey, she's like, it's okay. You don't go to, just go to marry a doctor. Like her biggest thing for me would be, to this day, I would think like if I married a doctor, because in her generation, that was like how you made it as a woman, like
marry the doctor, marry the lawyer.
Marry the doctor, the lawyer. And it's like, oh, he's a lawyer. He's a doctor. Like it was a very, But now I'm like, Grandma, come on! Like he IPO'd his last company. A doctor, just get a doctor.
What would she think about you doing reality TV?
She would love it, and it's I'm gonna get choked up. She would absolutely love it. So another thing that wasn't maybe the best, she didn't like. Mimi wasn't a cultural she didn't. she didn't like to leave her house a lot. She sat in front of a TV, right? A lot. Many hours per day, to the point where, like, you know, she was one of those types, she'd fall asleep in her lazy boy recliner. And if you tried to move the remote or turn the TV off, she'd be like, she'd wake up out of her, no, don't shut it off. Just nonstop, that TV was going on and on. So she was obsessed with television. And one of the reasons why I did this show is because I was like, if there's fucking heaven, and if there's a fucking TV in heaven, then she can watch it. Because, like, there's one thing, like, not being the president of the United States, nothing, like, being on TV, she would have understood that. Like, she loved TV. Too much, probably. It was weird. Yeah, she did. You know,
We all relate here.
it was the whole, because, you know, Midwest, it was like she just sat in front of the TV all day long. And it was like the Today Show, then this, then that, and then the 5 p.m. news, and then Oprah, and then the 6 p.m. news, and Everybody Loves Raymond, and the 10 p.m. news, and then I Love Lucy, and all the sick. And it was just, the TV was on nonstop coming up, and we couldn't walk in front of the TV. You couldn't do anything in front of the TV. So TV, she understood that, so she would 100% understand, and she'd be so happy.
That makes my heart and soul so warm for you.
Agreed.
And we're all so grateful that you decided to do it.
Yeah, right?
I know how busy this time of year is for everyone, and the last thing you want to do is worry about what's for dinner every night. And if you're like me, you definitely do not have a lot of time to spend in the kitchen. So that's where HelloFresh comes in. HelloFresh ships pre-portioned ingredients with step-by-step instructions right to your front door. I don't have to worry about meal planning or even grocery shopping at this point. And HelloFresh offers 40 recipes to choose from every single week. They send quality proteins and fresh produce, and they even have quick and easy recipes and 15-minute meals, which means you can get a delicious dinner on the table in less time than it takes to get takeout or delivery. How does this sound? Honey butter barbecue pork chops with mashed potatoes and lemony green beans. I can tell you that it was as delicious as it sounds. That's one meal we made recently. It was so easy. I love the HelloFresh recipe cards. They're easy to use and have pictures and make it impossible to screw up the meal. So when you need dinner fast, don't open that delivery app. Think HelloFresh. 15 minutes or less and you'll have a yummy dinner on your table. Plus, HelloFresh is 25% cheaper than most takeout. So go to HelloFresh.com/50Lala and use code 50Lala for 50% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/50Lala and use code 50Lala to get 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Selena Quintanilla was a force of nature, but when a loyal friend betrayed her, she met a fate she never deserved. Even the Rich is a podcast from Wondery that tells you the stories of the crazy lives of the greatest family dynasties to pop culture superstars. In their new season, Viva Selena, you'll hear how she made a massive cultural impact and became a legend the world will never forget. All before her 24th birthday, she had already left a legacy across cultures that would continue for generations. Her huge talent was nearly overshadowed by her untimely death. She was shot by a close friend and confidant, but there's so much more to Selena's story than her tragic passing. She was kind-hearted, brave, and tried her best to bring joy to everyone in her life. The positivity she put into the world still carries on nearly 30 years after her death, and she will always be the queen of Tejano music. Enjoy Even the Rich on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge Even the Rich, Viva Selena right now ad-free on Wondery Plus. Get started with your free trial at Wondery.com/plus. So speaking of like the dating and marrying of the doctor, are you dating anybody right now?
I'm dating no one.
How do we feel about that?
I'm okay with it. Okay, actually, I'm great with it. The only issue is I want to have a baby, and unfortunately, I need balls with sperm and stuff in it. So, and I need I'm not at the point yet mentally where I've seen with my friends. I have a couple friends who are single moms, and I see how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I know me, and I know how I get about, like, when I had a dog and, like, even going to the vet, I wanted that person, whoever I was dating, there with me to take care of the dog when I was upset. I'm not comparing dogs to babies, but I
think that's a totally fair.
I want a partner. Everyone's like, yeah, but what if you just, like, you know, what if you do really, really well with work or something, make a bunch of money, you can just have nannies and stuff. I'm like, no, I think I want someone, for once in my life, I want to be able to be, like, not the weak one, but I want to be, like, I don't want to do it on my own. I've done everything on my fucking own. And if I'm going to have a kid, which is it's the thing I'm going to take most seriously in life. Like, I'm going to have a kid and it's going to have, like, the best childhood. I'm going to be the best mother. Everything that I didn't get, I'm going to give it to them. And so I want it to be perfect. And in my mind, in my old school mind, it's like I do want that person there. I want to be able to lean on them. I want mommy and daddy in bed, and I want them to like jump in bed with us. Maybe it's irrational or it's not realistic, and I won't get it. But I think I'm still at the point where like I'd rather not have it than not have it the way that I want it.
I have this conversation with my friend Katie all the time, and she craves having a family over having children.
Oh, I never thought
So
of it that
she
way.
said, if I don't have a partner, then I don't need kids. I want a partner to create
oh my
a family
God,
with.
that's that. I'm like someone articulated how I feel. I couldn't put it. That's it. I want a family, not necessarily kids. Yeah.
Totally. And
yeah. Okay, that's it.
that's what you want.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I obviously felt that way before I had Ocean, right? And
Yeah.
now the universe and God worked in tandem to put me in a different place than I expected myself to be in.
Yeah.
And now I just crave having children. But I also have the luxury of my mom picking up her life and moving to LA to help me with
That's
my
nice.
daughter.
Oh, that's so nice.
You know, so
Yeah.
in a way, I feel badly calling myself a single mom or even trying to relate to actual single mothers because I have such a gang of support that I'm like true like single parents, single mamas.
Yeah.
Like those are superheroes. I can't even imagine.
You're a superhero though too. Don't cut yourself. I mean, like that's amazing. The fact that you can even like think of stuff like that is like speaks to your character. That's incredible. To be able to say like you are technically legally or like objectively by the state of California a single mother, right?
Right.
So, but that's incredible for you to say. I'm not going to even claim that because I know I'm so blessed because I have people around me helping and I have community and I have my own mother and I have.
Of course.
That's incredible for you to say that. Like,
well, I think it's important when you think, and I think that's what my mom taught me, is like when you think you got it bad, girl, there's people who have it worse and they're picking up and moving on and living life.
Yeah.
So figure it out.
You can always find someone, that's what my grandma used to say too. She'd be like, you can always find someone who's got it worse than you. Like,
yeah.
And that's the truth.
When you go out to like find a dude, do they have to be in a certain tax bracket? Do they have to be rich?
They don't have to be, but I very much prefer it. I've always been unapologetic about, like, this. It blows my mind. Okay, I grew up poor. Why would I want to be? People say like, oh, money can't buy you happiness. Yes, it fucking can.
I fully disagree. Every time people have said that, I'm like,
yes,
I fully disagree.
Yes, it can. Mind you, it can't buy you certain like it can't, but it can buy you. Vacations, therapists, spa, whatever, everything that you need, help, nannies, whatever, to take the burden off. Like, can it literally just buy you straight up happiness like it's a vending machine? Of course not, but nothing can. But I've been poor and I've been rich, and let me tell you, it's way better being rich. I think it's like people someone wants to keep people stupid and keep them down and keep them small. No, so I don't have any, and I'm realistic. Like, I know how much children cost. I know how much when I had my dog, how much that cost. I know how much children cost and private school tuition. Again, the way that I want to, dance lessons, gymnastics, that shit costs money. All the shit and I know how much because I didn't get to do any of it, So, and I was told the reasons why and the exact money cost. And I sat there and I did my little math and I did. So I know exactly how much everything costs. So I want the family. So I've always been very unapologetic about what I'm looking for. Obviously, if someone's amazing and great, it doesn't matter. But I a lot of the times, call me crazy, but money is associated with ambition. Now, if you're a trust fund kid, that's different. But, in order to make money, keep money, grow money, to me, that shows a proof of concept for like intelligence and ambition and drive. And it's like that Lil' Kim song, like, ambition makes me so horny. I love ambitious men.
I do too.
Like, I love like powerful, strong, smart, ambitious men.
They're hard to come by.
They're hard to come by in LA, and that's one of the reasons why I moved.
Really? Tell me more. Tell me more.
I lived in LA, and I bounced back and forth after college between LA and New York for jobs. And pre-COVID, 6 months before, I was living out in Beverly Hills, and I was engaged to Gideon. Then I moved to my own place in Beverly Hills. Then I moved to Venice. And after 2 years in Venice, I was like, I have so many hundreds of friends, but I feel lonely. Because LA can be a lonely place if you don't have like, you're driving in your car a lot. It takes like 3 months to make plans with friends. And if it rains, everybody cancels. If there's no valet, everybody cancels.
Totally.
Valet,
I cannot parallel park for
my
shit.
fucking friend lived like,
It's the first question.
She's
Do they
rough.
have valet?
She's rough.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, I don't have a lot. I have so many friends, but I wouldn't see them. And then I would just go on these dates. And then I even turned into the person I didn't like. I turned into a flake. Like everyone, it is very. I will say this: it is very different dating in New York, and it is better. I'll give you. LA is we're a lot of flakes here, and everyone's like writing or doing something or finding themselves. You can date someone for several months, and like I met the guy's parents when I was practically like living at his place, and then I was like, yeah, well, this is my boyfriend. And he's like, whoa. I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, your mom just texted me this morning.
Right.
Like, what, And then I did the same thing to someone. And I was like, whoa, now I'm turning into the thing that I hate. Because it's so easy here. And everyone's hot. And everyone has, like, a cool car. It's just, yeah. But in New York, everyone's dating with more of a purpose. Where there's kind of, like, the expectation of, this is how it goes. Or if we move in together, there's an expectation. There's more accountability there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally different dating scene. I much prefer New York.
Wait, do I need to like pack up my life and move?
I'm telling you, it's like, so I say New York and LA. New York is like the chick you marry. She's like ride or die. She's classy. It's amazing. And LA is your side chick. It's like you tend to
I don't want to be a side chick.
but it's more temporary. It's more fun. It's more like you look better here. It's like, it's exciting. It's whatever. But LA is more like people, it's just a different mentality. You settle down. If you really want to find a man, you go to London. It's like fucking fishing in a stacked pond over there.
Wait,
the
really?
ratio of dudes to women, I don't see women there. You don't see them. We're like 30s in London. Like literally.
I'm packing up my kid
and they're all wearing
finding
suits.
her a
they have cool
stepdad in
accents.
London.
They're super chill. They almost evolve like English dudes and like UK dudes. They kind of vibe like black dudes where they're just like real cool.
Done.
Yeah,
That's all I had to say.
Yeah. They're always like, they're like, girl, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how UK is, but they're like, girl, you crazy. Like, that was a bad British accent. But they're chill as fuck. Like they're chill. They're like, they think they just drink pints and like they're cool and they're pretty hot. The accent's cute. And they all like real jobs and they wear suits.
That's super hot.
Yeah, we should go to London.
Where did you meet Gideon?
Gideon I met in New York.
Okay, and he lives there?
Yeah, he did live there when we met, and then he moved to LA, and then I moved to LA with him. But then we broke up. I lived in Venice, and then I've moved back to New York since. But he lives in LA now.
See, I feel like for you,
I'm gonna set you up with Gideon.
Oh,
my
that
God.
would be really bad. I
Why?
think I would be a little too much for Gideon.
Here's the thing. No. If Gideon was good for me, Gideon would be perfect for you then, because we're kind of the same,
But you're like pulled together and like sexy and fun, but like use big words and like pre-med student. And I'm like, listen, I went to Slick, Salt Lake Community College. Most of the time I'm just in a hoodie.
Shut up. No.
You
He's good with, I've learned, he's very good with his mother, whom I adore. You have to find a guy that's good with their mother. That's one of the first questions I ask on dates too. What's your relationship like with your mother? Obviously there's situations like me, like I would hope no one would hold my biological mother situation against me. But for the most part, you can tell with a guy if he's like, yeah, I like her, like she drives me nuts, but I love her, and I always answer her phone calls. I'm like, if he's good with his mom,
I'm gonna need him to say I don't fuck with my mom at all, because there can't be two moms involved. Because I got my own main bitch, my own main mama. So I'm gonna need you to not fuck with your mom that much, because my mom's gonna be like living with us.
Do you think you can maybe ever find someone who had that? Would you be open if their mom was cool? What if you could have like two? And what if your mom then could have like a grandma friend?
By the way, if I find a dude who loves his mama and our moms love each other and we can punt them into like the pool house or something.
Yeah.
They can live together.
Yeah.
And then we can have like the big house.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love it.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing is I want to have like a compound and I want Easton and like the gays to move in, and then like my dude who has a cool mom and like maybe his family want to move in. Like come one, come all. Let's just like create a pod of orcas.
Yeah.
And just thrive.
I have a couple crazy wealthy girlfriends in New York, and they're like, should we just like buy Hampton's compound and we all live there together and then we all have babies together and raise them together? Because we're reading
Where
articles.
is this group of women? Where do I find them?
And I'm like, you come hang out with us. But they're like kind of honestly thinking about it. Like one of them's like, well, my parents will just like give us one of their houses. And then we're like, should we all as women, could you imagine 5 women, then we all raise our kids together in it would be.
Brynn, it's my dream.
It would be nice, because whenever we're together with the kids, we all naturally like, like the kids cry, and then I pick him up, then I feed him, and then we pass. It just happens organically.
That's like biological too.
Yes.
That used to be how it was. Way when there were like nomads, but it was tribal.
Yes.
All the women took care of each other's babies.
Yeah, they like breastfed other people's
They had
kids.
babies at the same time.
Do you know
Yeah.
that even though if you haven't breastfed, if there is an infant in here and you put it on the floor, okay, and it's crying and it just laid there, even though I, for example, have never breastfed before, within 8 to 9 hours, I'll start lactating.
Stop.
Because the baby gives off a pheromone, it's in distress, and if your body can do it, it will start doing it. We're animals. It's incredible.
That's beautiful.
Isn't
I have
it?
chills
wild.
again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Maybe, but who's tested this though? I read it, but like who's tested it? Like, let's put your baby in the middle of the floor and like cries and to see if my nipples hurt.
But can
Milk comes out of them, like.
Well,
But I believe it.
no, I believe it too. And
Yeah.
also, because I had the luxury of breastfeeding as well. I've had a lot of luxuries in life.
Oh, I love that you have recognize. You see these things that most people say, "Oh my God, I breastfed a head," and you're like, "No, you had the luxury." You're very grateful. That's a good thing.
Give Them Lala is sponsored by BetterHelp. Anxious thoughts seems like they always happen at exactly the worst time. Like when you're trying to go to sleep or when you're busy at work, and even when you're out with your friends and family. Trust me, I feel you. It happens to me too. But you know what helps? Talking through them with a licensed therapist through BetterHelp. BetterHelp gives you a place to get out of those negative thought cycles so you can find some mental and emotional peace. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's all done online. Just fill out a questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. It's convenient, flexible, and works on your schedule. You can even switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GTL today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/GTL. I just learned Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned. Doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant? Doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned how to snowboard? Also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope, Discover does it automatically. Seriously though, see the terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match. What is the dynamic like? So obviously for me, when you guys stepped onto the scene, right? I'm
Yeah.
going to take a RHONY turn.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous because I had watched the OGs on my TV for so long, gone back to Peacock or Hulu when Housewives was on Hulu,
Yeah.
and watched the most throwback episodes. So like the OG cast was in, I think, everyone's mind. I'll just speak for myself right
Yeah.
now. And I was like, a whole new cast.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. In fact, I actively told myself I can't cheat on my OGs.
Oh, yeah.
And then obviously I caved.
Yeah.
Like day of. I didn't even have to wait. It was like, it's on tonight. I'm watching. And immediately fell in love with actually all of you guys. There
Yeah.
wasn't one person who I was like, this feels forced.
Yeah.
There were so many natural, like it for me, it felt like you guys had been on camera for 100 years.
Really?
Yes. How did it feel for you?
It was awkward. It was weird. I mean, I got it it came to me so haphazardly. I just had wrapped up at a tech company here in Culver City, actually. I was coming back and forth to New York. I was like, okay, I'm in a position where I can take a year off from work for the first time in my life, and I'm just gonna like travel and chill. The economy was about to tank. So I was like, okay, I'll start looking in spring for a new job. And I was in south of France, and I get this DM from a casting company, and it's like, they're like, hey, we're at the Real Housewives of New York. We'd like to talk to you. And I thought it was like a scam, like a crypto scam or one of those things. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
sure,
Check the profile.
Because they like went to my spam because I was on private. I had like 3,000 followers or something. I was like, what is this? And then there was a couple more messages. And then my friend, Savannah, she messaged me. She's like, dumbass. She's from the Delta, but she lives in New York. She's hilarious. She's like, dumbass. They're trying to contact you for the Housewives. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not some like rich Mrs. Bloomberg or something, that's like bored. Like, what do they want with me? So I did a few interviews. All of mine were Zooms. I did 3. Yeah, no, it was like 2 or 3. No, 3 Zooms. I did.
Did you
3.
have to dress up in a gown in one of them?
No. But they did say like, oh, can you just like set up the camera so we can like kind of see some of your apartment? But I've obviously watched. So I was like, oh, I got this. And I have like a decor and whatever. So I like put the thing and like I'm in marketing. I was like, I'll just make it look, this will be funny. But each time I didn't think I did it because I was like, oh, this is going to be very funny to tell people like, oh, do you know that I interviewed Housewives? And like, here's how it went down, And I thought that I'd meet Andy, but I didn't even interview with Andy. Everyone else had to. I didn't. And
Really?
I didn't even go into 30 Rock. It was all via. I give good Zoom.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's rare. Not many people do. The moment I see Zoom, I'm like, you got to get me in the room. I do my best work in the room.
And I remember at one point too, they were asking me, so what do guys like dating? And they're like, what do guys like tell you? Is there any sort of like theme you always see? I was like, I don't know. This summer, every guy that I meet is always like, you remind me a lot of Alexis from Schitt's Creek. Because my stories are always like, well, one time I was on a boat with Leo and then we were like smoking cigarettes and he told me I was pretty. I have the most random, and then I got kidnapped by the North Korean army. Like I have like random, I have the craziest shit that's happening. People think I'm always fucking lying embellishment. I'm like, no, I dilute my stories to make them not sound so crazy and fancy. But a lot of men were telling me that I remind them of Alexis. And so they laugh. And then I was like, and I love the song A Little Bit Alexis.
It's
and then
so good.
I know the routine.
I'm a Lamborghini.
Yeah, I start doing the routine in my Zoom interview for Housewives. I was like, I'm a Lamborghini on a huge jet. I'm single, even though I'm not. I was like, just a little bit, la, 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 a little bit Alexis. I did the whole thing. And literally they were just like, can you start tomorrow? And I was, no, they didn't say that. They called me the next day. They called me the next day though. But I was like, yeah,
So
sure.
funny.
And then I thought it when I got it, I was like, okay, but I still can't do this. This is crazy. And then you read the contracts, and you're like, because technically you do, it's like a typical video. It's like if someone has to sign a video release form anywhere, if you're filming Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, it reads intense, even though it actually turns out that it's not. But I'm sitting there with the contract. I'm like, am I really going to do this? Am I going to do this? And I was like, fuck it. Like, who cares? And if it blows up my face, because I love the old women too, not old, but like the original, the OGs.
Right.
1 through 4, I own on my TV. I still rewatch it all the time. I think it's fucking hilarious. But I just thought, but you know what I kept thinking? I was like, I've worked in this industry for a long time. NBC, and this still like gives me hope. NBC, when you have a company like NBC, Universal, or Bravo, they're so big, they're not gonna fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I've always felt with working with my large CPGs like Johnson & Johnson and Unilever. You always have the backing of like, is this good? Is this gonna work? Or like, they kind of can't fuck up. I'm sure they all have.
And what they touch turns to gold.
Yeah.
It's just they have an eye for it, and something that like I don't have that gift. I don't have the gift of being like, this is going to translate perfect on TV, and then putting people together.
And
did they ask you? Like, do you have any friends? Or did they have like the lineup of chicks that they were meeting
I
with?
knew Jessel, and I knew Sai from working with her, and I knew Ubah from seeing her a few times. But I knew of Jenna. I didn't know Aaron. And so no, it's just like when they were putting it together, it's crazy. Like, as we're filming, and you get so close because you're filming every day, and I mean 90% of the stuff that we film they don't show. But we realized there's so many times, even to this day, we sit back when we're all in a good mood and not fighting with each other. We're like, they're fucking geniuses. Because like all the things, like how we each had lost our mom. Like when we start filming, I had just lost Mimi, but I was like deep in grief. It was like 18 months. Sai had lost her mom that summer. Jenna had lost her mom like 3 or 6 weeks before, 3 weeks before we started filming. Ubah, also very close to her mother, had lost her mother 12 years prior. Aaron's relationship with her mother, and then Jessel's mother relationship, there's that lovely. So it's like we all have these maternal mom stories and bonds, but there's like 30 things like that we all share. So like but it all came out like slowly, and it's just they're literally like geniuses. They're
Geniuses.
Yeah, they're geniuses.
Yeah. And watching you guys, it feels like such an organic fit. And I actually really enjoy, for the most part, when women on the show get together. I'm like, bitches, start like ripping each other's heads off. Like, I'm ready for that to happen now.
Yeah.
You guys, I actually like when you have those bonding moments.
Yeah.
I was living for Ubah, and I know you guys just filmed the reunion.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get you in trouble. I certainly get in trouble every other day by Bravo, so I'm going to watch my mouth as well. How did that go?
I like getting in trouble, but then I just tell them, I'm like, yeah, but I like getting spanked. And they're like, oh, Brynn.
I'm going to start using that. And they're going to be like, well, we can tell you've been around Brynn. And it only works for her, bitch.
No, and then they laugh, and they forget that they're supposed to yell at me. Wait, your question was, what about?
Was the reunion, was it intense?
So the reunion, when I went in there thinking, honestly, leading up to it, I was so nervous, and I was like, I felt like I was going to like a funeral, like a family funeral, like half the family didn't like each other or something. I was really, really nervous going into it, like physically kind of sick, and like I had anxiety the days leading up to it. And again, I had this like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm a grown ass woman. Why am I signing up to go sit in a fucking dress and in a studio and talk about? I was like, this is like, I'm a sane person. This is dumb. So going into it, look, I was sober the whole time, even the entire time. I was like, can I please have a drink? Can I please have some mushrooms? I was like begging.
Mushrooms?
Yeah. I turned to Andy, I was like, can you just microdose me? He's like, I can't. I can't do that. And I was like, oh, come on, just like a little bit. You know, just a little bit. You know, I'm talking when we're at work. But like, you know, but it was, for me, it was easy. I enjoyed it. At the end of it too, I start every time that after we're done filming, especially on the trips, and the crew would laugh. Like I would do this thing where I rip off my mic and I just start going fuck, cockballs, dick, and I run around like Kevin from Home Alone, and I'm like and I'm like, you can't get me now, fuck, cock, balls, like, you know, because my mic's off. For some reason, they take the mic off. It's like an adrenaline rush, you know, because I am kind of in the back of my mind. I'm aware of it, but no, I had a great time, and I was like, was that it? That was it?
Did everyone else go toes though?
No. A couple of people exited through the gift shop immediately, and then there was like shit going down on the group text of like.
Oh, you got a group text going?
We have a group text. I think people would prefer if we didn't have a group text.
Yeah.
And the group text has been the past couple weeks. There's been some people have been like, fuck, like, and the group text has never been bad. It's always been like we band together and we share pictures, we share funny shit. But the group text in the past 2 weeks has been like, fuck you, you're a fucking bitch. Like
because you guys have seen the whole season now.
We've seen the whole season.
How many weeks do we have left?
I think 3 more. 3 more of the regular season. This is episode 11. There's 14 episodes. So we have three more regular episodes and then 2 reunion episodes.
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's been more. Look, we all cried a lot. We did yell, but again, I was pretty like I got a lot of apologies.
Really?
Yeah, people being like I think now people, when they know me and they know that actually I'm harmless and I'm silly, like everyone enjoys me and loves me for exactly what I am. And they get me now, but I think during last year they were like, what is this bitch doing? And not understanding that 99% of the shit that comes out of my mouth is just a joke. I speak in innuendos. Like a Vanity Fair artist, she only seems to speak in innuendos. Like I speak in innuendos or I just metaphors and analogies and like, and I think so. Me, I had a good old time and a lot of time with Andy. I think I asked him a couple times if I could like smack him around a bit.
And he was like, absolutely.
Maybe. It was just fun.
Yes.
Grab my necktie.
Yeah,
Pull it hard.
I just had fun. But I think a couple of the gals, yeah, they definitely didn't. So it was tough for some people.
Ubah hitting 100 in Anguilla.
What do you think? What did you think about it?
Well, I'd be pissed if someone took my phone because I get super annoyed by things like that.
Yeah.
The fact that Aaron, my natural reaction is not to get physical, right? That's not
how I was raised too. I was raised to use your words.
Your words.
You
like,
use your words.
I can cut deep as a knife.
Me too. Same. Yeah.
However, if someone snatched something off of my face, I think I would see red and I'd start swinging.
Yeah.
So I respected Erin in that regard, but Erin, and I like her. I like all of you guys actually. But watching this, it was like, I'm trying to.
I think it's like, don't start none, there won't be none.
Right. Like you keep talking shit about everybody behind their back.
Yeah.
Then you're like twisting things around and then you're crying in the corner. No.
Yeah.
You're a grown ass woman. You fucked around. Everyone's now spoken. You're a common denominator.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it and you don't get to cry about it.
Yeah. And you fuck around and you find out. I feel like with that too, look, I always tell her, like, leave the jokes to me. Like, I'm the prankster, I'm the jokes. Like, I just think that, honestly, I'm still to this day, and it's funny, and just as of this morning, I was on the phone with Ubah. We're going still back and forth about this because every episode that comes out, it's like she rewatches it, she relives it, and she gets all worked up all over again.
Oh.
So there was a lot of text again today. Like, when the text is so long, it goes to notes. Mm-hmm. That's what it was
Wait,
like.
No.
Oh my
No,
I've
that's
never
like
had that.
crazy
Yeah.
long.
Oh,
It's like
that's
iCloud.
when, yeah.
That's like essay.
Yeah, and that's how it went today too. And it's just how I feel about that. Okay, so I feel like I think it was a dumbass joke, and I think it wasn't funny. Which to me, that's the most insulting thing because I like humor. I'm like, that's not funny.
What was the joke?
No, the joke was I'm gonna steal your phone as a prank. That's not a prank. A prank is like I bought a goat and tied it upside my friend's house in the Hamptons. That's a prank because you can't get rid of a goat in the Hamptons. It's really hard. They're like. Yeah, the animal control is like, why is there a goat here? You know, and you're like, how did it get behind your gates? You know, and then they get in trouble. So that's a funny. That's a prank. Taking somebody's phone is not like a prank, and then
It's just annoying.
yeah, it's annoying. I think if she had done it to me, I'd be like, dude, you're fucking lame. Like, don't fucking do that again. I'd be irritated with her. I don't think I would go again. So that I was like with Aaron. Then and I experienced this. So this is literally how I'm going. First, I was like, okay, Aaron, you're being fucking dumb, and I sided with Ubah, and then but then when Ubah grabbed the glasses, that's when I started to get like, because again, I was raised you don't get physical, and then personally too, we're all like New Yorkers, so it's like that's called personal property. Like, okay, I'm just gonna call my lawyer, then we can figure it out that way. Like we're very. Yeah, like that's technically like we get all legal and like legalese and whatever.
I would thrive in New York.
Yeah, you
Oh my God, you would. Yeah,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
would.
you
Yeah, everything. Yes. So I didn't like that, but then then Aaron gets really upset, and it's kind of like okay, but then it just went back and forth, and that to experience that, you guys, it was like 10 fucking hours of them fighting.
Yeah, it was like enough already. You
Yeah.
said no bullshit. Like, are we still talking about this?
Yeah,
Squash it
and like
move on?
I just kept drinking all day, like, cause I'm bored, and it's like there's like 1942 sitting there. I'm like, I'm on vacation, people, you know. So they just kept going and going, and they're just going in circles, and like they do love each other, but I don't know. So at the reunion, Ubah did clarify a couple things because Aaron kept saying it was 45 minutes. She did have her phone for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, it seemed long.
It was a long time. So with the single girl thing, I do relate to Ubah in that because it's like, but at the same time, like, but Ubah, we're with the crew's incredible. We had security guards at the thing. We have butlers. We have drivers. Like, if you lose your phone or your diaphragm, like, one of the showrunners will go and get you a new run. Like, they protect us like little passenger princesses.
Totally.
You know? So I didn't, like, feel safe. Like, I actually, like, felt the most safe in that environment. So I don't know about that whole theory of, like, well, I'm single. And also what I told her I don't know if I can say this, but I've told her a lot of times, like, it's called, like, find my iPhone or, like, share your location with your family. Like there's technology, like,
that you can
solutions
use.
where you don't have to literally text your family or send a carrier pigeon to let them know where you are.
Right.
You know, like but I think she likes to check in with family. Ubah is, I don't like seeing Ubah get like that because that's not Ubah. Ubah out of all of us she's actually like the sweetest, but when she gets that mad, I think she's the most intense housewife probably on the franchise, and I've watched all of them.
I relate.
She goes there. She gets to that point, and I think for her,
She can't hear you, see you.
and people think, oh, it's because of, and she's admitted, and she said it on the show too, like, it's not because of her religion she doesn't drink. It's because she's like, she knows herself. She can't. I would never, like.
I was going to ask you about that. Does she not, is she like that off camera as well where she doesn't drink?
She doesn't drink. No, she doesn't drink.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's, and she has, like, Ubah, have you met her in person?
No.
She's the most. She walks in, she's an energy field. She's like she's a force. She's larger than life in more ways than one.
Yeah.
She's just one of those people, like, she walks in the room. I've been in the same room with someone like Cindy Crawford or something. You're just like, oh my God, there's like a beam coming from them. Or Charlize Theron. Like, she's like a, not an avatar. She's like it's alien or something, right? And like, she just emits, like, she knows everyone. You can't go around New York and ask one person. They say Ubah. Everyone knows Ubah and everyone loves Ubah.
Really?
Oh my God. More than me, more than anyone, more than Jenna, anyone. Everyone knows Ubah. She gets into any private members club. She's a
freaking, I love watching her. She's funny as shit.
Yeah.
She's also so incredible to look at.
Yeah. In person, the girls, I keep telling her, I love the Ubah Hot. It is delicious. It's like a dip more though, I think, than like a condiment.
Oh, I love a dip.
Yeah, I eat it. I'm like, put it in a thing. I eat it like hummus with chips. That's how you should eat it. It's not like a little hot
I'm
sauce.
buying this.
It's so I'll have her send you back. She would
Will
love
you
to send you
please?
back. I would 100%.
Oh, I love
We'll
free
fucking
stuff.
like it. It's delicious. But I'm like, that's great. I love the hot sauce. Can you make skincare? Her skin, she's fucking photoshopped in real life. Like, her skin is just black, smooth, like, she's stupidly beautiful in person, and then she has this larger-than-life personality. Like, when she enters the room, she's the most beautiful, physically, spiritually captivating person. She's just one of those types. Like, they don't make them like that. You know, she's got this thing about her. It's like, holy fuck. So, but the only issue is and she knows this, is that, like, when she gets activated, it's like you can't
You can't talk to her.
Yeah, we were with the producers because she was so quiet all season 2, and a couple times sometimes the cameras would go and then she'd get a little fiery like that, and I was like, "Where's this Ubah?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know, I don't want to get too like that." So when we came back from Anguilla and we're standing at the carousel to all get our luggage, and I see one of our producers is like not standing by us. She's so over us. She's fucking done with us.
Done.
I have a picture of her and she's like standing just staring at I'm like, yo, your luggage. And she's like, huh? And I go up to her, I go, what's wrong? You turned your Ubah doll on. Now you can't shut her off, can you?
Yeah.
And she looked at me, she was like, yeah. Because we all were like, come on, where's Ubah at? Like, where's Ubah at? Because we knew she's a little bit more vivacious, but that was like, it's rare for her. And I know she doesn't love that about herself. And that's what I talked to her about her today. Because she's like, she has so many people in her family, friends. Even my nieces met her at the premiere and they're obsessed with her. She gave them her phone number. She texts with my nieces.
Yeah.
She's that person. Like, she's like, you can't make that shit up, Like, she's one of those
She
types.
seems that way.
Yeah. And like, she's so thoughtful and so kind. And so therefore, she can get like that. She's usually good about it. And I wouldn't say she's embarrassed, but she's upset that happened, But it's human. I was talking this morning, I'm like, dude, it's human. Like,
Absolutely.
actually, I think it's more relatable because who the fuck is like, unless you're the Dalai Lama, who's like happy and nice and whatever every day?
I related to it. Like, I go from like, I'm chill, let's have the best time.
Yeah.
The second someone does something to like, that doesn't sit right, you cannot talk to me until I like tornado through life.
You and Ubah are exactly like in that regard.
And then once I rip your head off, I'm like, didn't that feel so good? And they're like, well, you've said the meanest things anyone's ever said to me. And I'm like, I know, but I feel so great now. Like, I like you.
Yeah.
And it's a mind fuck for people.
Ubah's digs won't be so deep. Because I've seen your digs, and I can go where you go, where I'm like, I didn't even know that I was studying your subconscious.
I knew that you could.
Yeah, but I like all of a sudden, I talked to you for 5 minutes, I undiscovered your childhood fear, and I'm going to rub it in I'm going to smash your face in it. Like because I had to protect myself with my words as a kid, so like I grew up doing that. Ubah's not like that. She doesn't go, her thing is she's Tyson or whatever, she goes rounds. She goes 20 rounds. That's a long ass match. I mean, she can go round after round after round.
I tucker myself out.
Yeah. Me too. After a while, I'm like, I don't care. I'm just like, fuck it. I don't care. Fuck it. But she'll just keep going. She's the energizer. But you can't. Yeah,
Fuck.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's really, really wild to see.
I love Sai. You, Ubah, and Jessel, which Jessel I was kind of like, I was kind of going back and forth at the very beginning. And now I'm like,
Jessel.
don't sleep on Jessel.
I've said since day one when we started filming, and I've said this, I called her, I remember there's this long bully story, I sent her from London, I was at the Soho House, and I was like working, and I was like, I had this genius marketing idea for her and stuff, and I keep telling her, I'm like, you are the star of the show. It is the Jessel show. Jessel's the funniest person on the show. Jessel in real life she's out of her fucking mind. She doesn't even know she's on it. I mean, no, what I say, I'm like, she doesn't know she's on a TV show. Like, I think she doesn't know. She's like, hey guys, it's just like, let's do lunch. Oh my God, are you in the know? Oh my God. She'd come in here and be like, oh my God, Lala, I love your podcast. Give them Lala. And she will have like never listened to your podcast, but she went on your Instagram for like 5 seconds, thinks you're fab, and is like, oh my God, you know so-and-so. I love them. And I
love her.
She's so like, oh, come on. Just like, Andy. Like, did you hear what she did this past week with Watch What Happens Live?
No, but you took her with you, right?
No.
She was on.
This bitch, Watch What Happens Live, asked her to be on Wednesday, right?
Okay.
She's like, no, I can't, Kyle. I have to do blah, blah, blah. She can't do it. So then they ask me. And I was like, oh, fine, sure, whatever, I'll do it. So I do it. And I was supposed to be on with some comedian. And then they text me like 2 days beforehand. And they're like, hey, Brynn. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, actually, we're going to have Tyler
He's hot.
Cameron Babler.
Who is that?
Yeah, he was on The Bachelor.
Oh, okay.
And he's single, yeah?
He's single, yeah. So these fuckers, the Bravo gods are trying to play Cupid over here. So I was like, I was like, you fucking devils. I know exactly what you're doing, right? So anyhow, so they're like, okay, we're going to have you on. So I didn't even know. I didn't tell the girls. I'm just like going about my day. And Jessel, I have this slot of text from Jessel. Oh my God, did you hear who you're with? I can't believe it. Literally, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I think I'm going to throw up right now. My stomach's doing somersaults. And she's having a conversation with herself. And I'm just watching it. She's like, wait. And then it's like, I see the dots. Should I come? I think I should come. Should I just say that I'm going to come? Do you think they're going to get mad at me? Fuck it. I'm going to come. What are you wearing? Call me later. Like this. And I'm just like, what just happened? So this bitch tells them she can't come, makes me take her spot, finds out it's going to be this hot dude. And then she shows up. She's never on time for shit. And Jessel shows up like 30 minutes early. Oh, hi, Brynn, hi. And she's like, oh, where's Tyler? Like, you know, and then she walks, she's like, hi, I'm Jessel. Like, it's just, and then I'm standing, and Andy and I are standing there. I'm like, he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, what's wrong with her? He's like, I don't know. We're like, really, Jessel? And she doesn't get, she's like, Andy, but like, you know, I just had to like, what? He's like, no, Jessel, you were supposed to be here. You told us you couldn't do it. And she's like, I know, Andy, but like, I just have to.
And the accent and the texture of her voice just makes everything okay.
Yes.
You're like, it's fine.
That is
Talk to me more.
hilarious.
So wild how she like goes around everywhere, loves to do dinners and lunches. Like she lives in this version of New York that I don't know if it even exists anymore, but like, you know, of like the who's who and the luncheons and the things. And like, she's just like, let's do a podcast. Like, you know, like it's just.
I'm obsessed with her. And I love that she like keeps notes about what everyone's done.
Oh, that's the funniest
She claims
thing.
she's deleted them, but like
Wait, you're telling me she didn't bring them out for reunion time? That's what I thought she was keeping receipts. I wonder if she did that before she started filming a show.
She told us first of all, the note list, which they didn't include all of it, the note list was absurd. It was hilarious. It was detailed. And I've worked in corporate America, and I'm like, did you have a boss that touched you or something? Because you're really like documenting everything, like the day, the time, exactly what you do, and how it made you feel, and da-da-da, and all the detail. She's like, well, I just want to make sure I'm good in my confessionals, and I have that information. I'm like, bullshit. Like, you don't need that. Like, you don't need that. You fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Like, it was like
she was writing herself.
It was like
script.
a Dear Diary situation. Like, it's like we're like an 11-year-old writing like, it wasn't like.
She gives me that vibe, though.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
It wasn't details it wasn't like cliff notes to jog your memory for the meeting of like, oh, I need to hit on these 3 points, or I need to remember these things, or anything analytical. And I was like, scribbles and angry stuff, and like it was so. But that's Jessel though. She's so funny.
It's so crazy
funny
to me that people, because now you've told me that she had very detailed notes. It's crazy that Ubah writes so much that it goes in. I'm telling you, more than like a couple sentences, don't send it. I'm not reading it. Don't send me a voice note that's more than 15 seconds.
My phone's always on notifications. I don't like phones. I think they're like tracking devices. Notifications are always off for me. I can't stand like hit enter and just send me a block. Don't do ding, ding, ding.
That's my
biggest. Like text messages were created for if you're in a fucking movie theater or a meeting. Why are we like Charles Dickens?
Call me on the phone so we can get it done and then hang up and call it a day.
Yeah, and the voice, like my voicemail box has been closed for like forever. I always laugh though too, like then that's how people always know if I like them. If they're like, "Oh, Brynn hasn't responded to my text," I'm like, "But I respond." If you tell me something funny, I respond.
Yeah.
If you tell me like, "Oh my god, I'm leaving this dude's house," I'm like, "Drop everything," and I'm like, just waiting, you know. And you can send me paragraphs, but if it's like, "Hey, what are we doing next?" And then they correct spell because they said, "What are you doing?" 3 times. They misspelled it, and they
just keep doing
"What are you doing?
it?
What are you doing?" I'm like, "What's wrong with you?"
No, that's why when we were texting, because I know how annoying it is. First of all, I know it's annoying texting in general, but then texting someone to do their podcast is even more fucking annoying because I've
You guys
been
are
there.
great. You made it easy.
No, you're so fun. But that's why I was like, Jess, lock it down. Send Brynn a text. It's just like, here we are. This is the time.
I
and
put it
call
all
a day.
in one too, because that's
And
my
all in
vibe. You
one.
separate it by
Yes.
paragraphs, so it's not a whole
Yeah.
block.
If
but
she
it's
has
one
someone that
text.
wants to deal with it so she doesn't have to, like, great.
Just like ding, ding, ding.
So before we leave,
yes.
I do an ache and relief of the week.
Oh.
Do you want to take a beat to think of yours, or do you have your ache and relief
Ache
ready?
and relief. What's a relief?
The relief is like, so for mine, let me look. My ache is that I went to DC and I was with the Humane Society International for the Humane Cosmetics Act, which was absolutely beautiful, fantastic. We made a lot of progress. And I'm looking because I'm very excited for publications to pick this up. Doesn't need to have my name attached to it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just want the Humane Cosmetics Act to be plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not coming through. But this stupid thing that I fucking said on Amazon Live about Raquel and Tom Sandoval was everywhere.
Right.
And that for me was such an ache. I was like, this is annoying.
Yeah.
And I don't know why for just 1 second. You can write about that stuff, but let's also write about things that matter
Once in
as
a while.
well.
Or it's also like if I give you a bunch of stuff that people do, can you at least just do me a favor, like include something that's relevant? Well, why don't you like mix it up? Why don't you mix it up? Like do one so that they can't break it up. Be like,
right, exactly, like a
cosmetic
run-on.
testing again. Tom Sandoval, work out new information. Like just insert it,
Put
like
it into one thing so that they have to
so
write
they
about
have
it.
to read it, like one of those ad libs things when you're a kid or something.
That's what I'm going to start
Yeah,
doing. I'm going to
yeah.
spill tea and talk about things I care about all in
Yeah.
one. So
That's
was
amazing that you went to Capitol Hill.
It was absolutely incredible. I was so nervous. I did a congressional briefing and
Are you serious?
I literally had a script. And when I got up there, I just like threw it out the window. I was like, we're just going to like speak
Yeah.
from the heart here.
Oh
And
my God.
in that moment, because I was praying to God again, obviously. And my dad being like, I need you to take over because my mind and my mouth, I can tell are not, because I'm so nervous. And it was just so, like I got to enjoy that moment. So often I do things and I'm like, because you were so nervous and treating it like a to-do list, you now don't look back on that and go, what an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And I
Or you
look
just kind
back.
of black out when you're doing it because you're
Exactly.
so nervous and you're like, I did it. Did it go okay? Did I say something stupid or something like that?
Right.
I always pray and I always say, God, it's that one that from Course in Miracles. God, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say and to whom? And I just say that like 3 times and then like, and it literally, then I'm able to be present and then the stuff just comes out of my mouth and I don't have to like think so much.
That's
I
beautiful.
love. Will you text that to me?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
great.
do you want me? Are you sure you want me to text it to your voice note?
No, I want you to text it. I want you to text it. I'm going to screenshot it. And then my relief of the week, and I'm not trying to be cheesy, but is having you here on the podcast. I've been looking forward to this. So I'm so happy to have you.
Thank
so that's
you.
how our ache and relief works.
Does anyone else have one? Or is it just the
If you want to wait, we usually just go through it quick.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have your ache
No, I
and
have
relief, Easton?
Yeah, my ache is going to be, and I feel like I'm saying the name right, but it's Li'i.
Lolita?
It's the dolphin, though. Li'i.
I don't know the dolphin. Are you talking about Miami Sea Aquarium?
Yeah, Miami-Dade County. So there's it's dolphin, Li'i, L-I'.
Okay.
And it's been in this aquarium. It's not even running right now. So Dade County, they are saying that they have to either rebuild it or destroy it. It's not even open for public. So this dolphin is just swimming in a dirty aquarium.
Oh my God.
And it has been in there since 1988.
Okay, well,
And
we need to do something about that.
Yeah, so that is my ache of the week. So let's all try to do something about that.
We're going to do something about that.
And then, Brynn. I mean, even more beautiful in person, can I say?
Issa wants to know if you'll move into his 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. I got a
Are you
Chili's gift
ambitious,
card.
baby?
He's very ambitious.
I got you.
Ambitious.
Yeah, I got a Chili's gift card. Let's run it up.
I'm an Olive Garden girl, but I'll do it.
All
All right, I guess you can splurge.
I'll splurge a little bit. Don't got the gift card there, though.
Maybe now that you've shouted them out on the podcast, they'll send you one.
Shout out Olive Garden.
Yes.
So I can take Brynn somewhere. See, now we got it going.
Somewhere nice.
Hey.
Yes.
So there's
Jess,
mine.
what's yours?
My relief is, love that you're here, Brynn, but my relief is that the writer's strike is over. So
I
the
did see that.
Is it officially? I thought is it tentative or did they do a
No, it's
proper deal?
over.
It's over?
The WGA and
Oh, thank
the AMPTP
Yeah.
came to an agreement yesterday.
Good.
So that's over. I'm
Hey.
so excited.
I'm
Good,
so
good.
thrilled about this.
Oh
This is
my
great.
gosh, I'm so excited. So happy for the writers. That's the relief. And my ache is I went to Ed Sheeran on Saturday. That's not my ache. Ed Sheeran was incredible. So much swag, by the way. Did you guys know? Like
That Ed Sheeran has swag?
Oh, he's sexy
swag.
pants. Yeah,
No,
he's
no.
hot.
He's swag.
Yeah.
But people, I was on the floor throwing elbows like no one's business at an Ed Sheeran concert. It was the most wild thing I've ever experienced. Beer bottles were being thrown. Like Ed Sheeran. Acoustic on loop. Ed Sheeran. And people were like, you could not, like if you did a little elbow and try and get ahead of someone, they would throw you back.
Oh my God.
It was
Oh,
wild.
no.
Wait, where's this at again, you said?
This was at SoFi,
Oh,
and
wow.
this was on
GA?
Saturday. This was
General
on
admission?
the floor. Yeah,
Ah,
this
there it
was
is.
like on the floor.
No, that's like paid. SoFi doesn't have GA.
It was on the floor. It was like right in front of the stage.
Yeah,
so people
that's
were
mosh
like,
pit shit.
yeah.
It was
That's
thrown
so
around.
fun.
Well,
Yeah. I
I'll
used to
get
do
you
that when I was
going.
there. Yeah.
It was wild. I was not expecting that. It was hilarious, but wild. So anyway, that's my ache and relief.
That's
How
fun.
I
about you,
love it.
Bren?
Okay, my relief, being here is now like, yes, I would agree. Being here is a huge relief. Thank you. I mean, seriously, thank you. I am honored. My other relief would be taking my goddaughter to school. I've been doing the school drop-offs, pick up and drop off, and I really, really enjoyed that. It's just so cute and like I love the little school and the kids in their uniforms and they run. It's so sweet. I actually have my pass and I have to give it back. Like I have my family pass.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Do you walk her in? Like,
Yeah, they let. Well, she's a little bit older, so like, I don't get to go like all the way into the classroom. But but I'm like, it's like all the other SUVs, and I get out, and I wore these things for pickup. And I'm like this, I look like, I'm like fucking with like my bra showing in the back. I'm like, hi, honey, mommy's here. And then I treat her friend, who's my best friend from college, my freshman year college roommate. I'm still friends with her, and I'm the mother now of her goddaughter. But I always then I treat her like she's the nanny, and I'm like, can you take the bag?
That is hysterical, and I freaking love this story.
So that's my
Your relief.
My relief.
What's
My
like putting
ache-
a bee in your bonnet? Anything?
My ache this week. I regret that I didn't like really shoot my shot with Tyler.
you didn't?
We hung out afterwards, but I didn't like hardcore shoot my shot. Because here's the thing: when I actually think like I'm the biggest flirt in the world, and I can be like da 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 da. One actually might actually like someone when I start to get a little quiet.
Oh.
And I don't. Oh yeah, I get very like quiet, and I'm not like, hey, what's up, big dick? Like, I'm not. When I actually like might like someone, I'm like, oh hey, what's up? Like, hey dude. Like I'm like kind of turn into a tomboy.
Yeah.
And I get a little shy. Yeah. That's
Why didn't you do drinks and dinner? Something that could be loosey
we had a
goosey.
flight. Oh no, we
Okay.
did drink a lot. We drank heavily.
You
And
drank
after-
heavily.
Yeah. Until
Yeah,
after,
day
yeah.
drinking is so fun.
that's the
But
best
did you
part
get his
about it.
phone number?
Yeah.
Yeah. He asked me for my phone number.
You should have cut your
dude,
pant
you-
pockets.
You're good. Is he in
Cut your
LA?
pant
No,
pocket.
it's
Cut
Florida.
your pant pockets.
You should do what?
I said you should have cut your pant pockets.
Oh my god!
Tie
I wish. I should text him that like, hey, do you have scissors? You want to cut my pant pockets? He's gonna be like, he's in construction.
Oh, he might have a
That
knife on
is
him.
so hot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you sent him a message. Where does he live?
He lives in Florida.
He does?
He lives in Florida. Yeah.
Weird.
That's not a
I
long
think
flight
he has
for
a
you.
place
Come on.
in New York.
What
Okay.
a random place to live.
Okay, well
I
now he knows.
Now
There
he
we go.
knows.
What's his name again?
Tyler.
Tyler, slide into
Cameron,
her
right?
pant-
Tyler Cameron.
I always call him Cameron. I think his name's Tyler though.
I guess we'll find out.
Look, I don't care what his name is.
I don't think he'll care what you call him either.
Yeah, right.
I love it. I had the best time with you.
Thank you, my love. Thank you.
for
Me too.
coming.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
guys
having
for listening to another episode of the Give Them Lala podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I know you did, and I will catch you next week. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Give Them Lala podcast. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you next week.